In this video, we're going to look at the basics of database tables in Microsoft Access. So all your data is stored in table format, and the other parts of the database like queries, forms, and reports are just different ways of displaying that data from the table. So here's a table that we've got already, and it's got quite a lot of entries in it, and you can see there's actually 121 entries. Each row in this case is known as a record, and each column is referred to as a field, and each field has got a name, as you can see on the column headings. So before we even look at creating tables or editing what's in them, we can also edit how they look. And although it looks a bit similar to Microsoft Excel, for instance, it behaves a little bit differently in terms of how we format the data that's here. So we can see if we're on the Home tab with the table open, this is datasheet view. The other view is design view, which we'll look at in a future video. But if we change, for instance, the font to something else, you'll see it changes the entire table. There's no way to just change one part of the font, or one row or one column or something like that. If we make it larger, it makes them all larger. If we want to make them bold, again, it does the same thing. If we change the text color, it applies to the whole table. What we can change on a row by row basis is the shading. As you can see, I've got white and sort of greeny blue color here. So we can change that through the two buttons here, grid lines and alternate row color and background color. The first row and every odd row after that is, in this case, white, but we could change it to a light gray or something like that. And then we could change the alternate row color to something else. Obviously, you still want to maintain readability. If you change this to, for instance, dark purple, although it would be a very contrasty look, you can't really read this text in the even rows anymore. So then we've also got the grid lines, which are the lines between the rows and columns, and we can turn on, let me lighten this color here again. We can turn on the horizontal only, so it's just for the lines going across, or the vertical going down, or none, which removes them all, or change it back to both, which gives you the horizontal and vertical together. Then the other thing that we can change individually, as you can see, some of these columns are actually centered, so we can change the alignment of individual columns. And that's just about all the difference you can really make between text on a table, is just alignment and then the shading. There's a few more things that we can do with tables in this datasheet view, and namely sorting and filtering. So we can sort by just clicking on any of the column headings and choose sort A to Z or Z to A, or in the case of numbers, largest to smallest or smallest to largest. And the options are here on the ribbon as well. So maybe we want to sort by age. We can do that quite quickly. Sort by surname, and so on and so forth. We can also filter according to, for instance, school. Clicking the button and clicking the little down arrow here gives you the same thing. We could say we only want this school Denville, and then you can see it even changes the numbers here at the bottom to show that there's now only 38 because it's just showing those. It does also indicate that the filter is on there, and there's a small icon next to the name as well indicating that it's filtered, and then here you can turn the filter on and off quite quickly. There's also additional text filters that you can go into more detail, like that it starts with certain text, contains certain text, ends with certain text, and so on and so forth, if you need to go into something more advanced like that. So filters are quite a nice way to just quickly see at a glance what information you have, and you could, I suppose, do an additional filter. So now it's filtering by school and by interest, and there's only 3 students in this case. Then we can also apply totals, so it adds a little row at the bottom here. And with this we can apply things like a sum, or perhaps we want to know the average age, or even just how many people are in this list. You can see there's 3, their average age was doesn't fit there. 15.33, I think it's recurring, so that's why it doesn't fit. And then you can do things like minimum and maximum. So your very basic things here. In the shift amount, it's applied the average amount in that thing. And if we turn off the filter, these rows are still there at the bottom, and they're just producing different information now. And you can simply turn that on and off and remember your settings. So that's just some basic ways to interact with tables. In future videos, we'll look at adding data, deleting data, that sort of thing, as well as creating tables from scratch or editing existing ones.